morning and welcome to another edition of Roadhouse Live. We are live. Today is October 11, 2023, and I think we have a full house, if you will, of participants on today's show. Bender, are you not excited? We have full participation from the crew.
The house is full.
The house is
it's feeling crowded. I'm starting to get a little anxiety.
Oh no, man! Not when you got Stonk and Sunny. When you got Sunny,
Time to walk outside and have a drink.
And no,
Oh,
it's not
wait,
like
no.
that. It's like these guys are more than family. These guys are a part of the house. It's like Sonny just banging it out at the Open yesterday. Massive trade yesterday, Sonny. And we got Stonk returning from his visit, from his journey of becoming a man.
Oh man.
Can't wait to hear all about it.
It's like, what's it like, Stonk, becoming a man? All like,
Well, I'll have to give you guys my bar mitzvah speeches.
yeah, that's exactly what we're looking forward to. All right, so let's get. You see, we spun the dreidel, and I had to kiss my cousin, and it was cool.
Read the
Um,
Torah.
all right, so let's. China tried to say some nice stuff last night, saying, "Hey guys, it's okay to do business over here again." You know how they do every so often. It's like, yeah, guys, it's great. Water's great here. Come on, come on.
Like a like a almost like a battered spouse, right?
Dude, I'm telling you, man, that's exactly what it is. Then you fucking G sleeps into your bedroom in the middle of the night, does some molestations, and you wake up in the morning and your calls were at 80%. Now they're like, if calls could go -%, that's usually what ends up happening.
But I love you.
But exactly. I do it because I care. It's like I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah. All right. So
I wish you wouldn't make me do this.
yeah. Fucking unbelievable. So last night we had a nice rally. Really nothing to it. Japan is really interesting. It had a nice little surge, but it gave back in the latter half of its session. Today we have some interesting. We had PPI come out. Was not really what the market was looking for on the front end. However, it was able to find a quote unquote level. The dollar is lower there than where it was, which you would not necessarily expect with that print. It does appear that the market is like, okay, we're kind of in rally mode, and I think it can do that on the back of rates have peaked. We're starting to hear the little tea leaves come out, right? We heard a couple little things yesterday, a couple little pitter patters of, oh, hey, again, entering election cycle. They cannot be the ones who force us into a recession. That's number one. Number two, we also have earnings season this week. I think that oddly plays into it into some capacity as far as how these banks report on Friday. I don't think they're trying to get overly excited about anything. And we do have Fed minutes today. So we're going to hear about what they said a month ago, and it's going to be really exciting considering that they've spoken every 10 minutes so far this week. So we get to hear what they thought last week, and then throughout the day, we get to hear what they think today. So it's going to be super exciting. Benner, that's really all I have. There's not a whole hell of a lot of stuff that's floating around. Maybe Sonny does. Boeing got some upgrades. It's kind of cute. You have crude down 1%. Kind of interesting, right? I thought it was interesting. Waking up and seeing crude kind of wibble wobble-ish. That's a pretty good take back on crude, which, if they're starting to sell crude at this point, that means that whatever they think is going on in the Middle East is really not something that is going to be quote unquote impactful, right? Maybe. Or maybe it was up like 5% in one day, so it's got to cool down a little bit. Maybe that's it. Either way, the charts are the charts. Yesterday, we got caught in this weird choppish type zone. Just really bizarre trading in the last hour of the day. And then now we're coming into a world to where, you can see whatever you want to see. You can see us up against resistance. You can see a little rising as wedge. You can see really whatever you want to see, whatever you want. It's like 31 flavors. It's like the basket in Robbins. It's like a box of chocolates. It's like a lot of different things. And the last thing I'll touch on before I turn it over to Bender, we had some fairly bearish lines come in at the end of the day, short dated yesterday. Very short dated. Them boys are trapped right now. Hard. We had a $2 million put sweeper on Tesla weekly. Some of these boys are trapped pretty good. So the question is how are we going to open? Are we going to throttle that high sitting up there? What are we going to do? And that's what you're here for, Bender. You're here to tell us exactly what's going to happen.
Minute by minute.
With no hesitation.
Exactly.
Well, minute by minute.
Exactly.
Used to be my job. Used to be. So, yeah, dude. Tell us.
All right. Well, let's talk about it a little bit. So, yeah, like you said, yesterday we kind of got into, a little bit of choppiness. I think there was, some headline, as always, headline risk, headline exposure that created a pullback. But as we discussed yesterday, it held where it needed to, right? I'll go back to the fact that we are still making legs up, pull back. I think this was about 50% of this leg. That's what we were talking about. It holding that, popped again, make another leg up, wibble wobble around, chop around, make another leg up, chop around, right? So right now, that is the pattern. That is the cadence, if you will, until it's not. I want to point out, right now we're looking at a 60-minute chart. And if I switch this to regular trading hours, there is a gap. You all know it's there. Everybody knows it's there. But that comes into play, 44.18 half, the top of that gap at 44.4350. Make note of that. Make sure you have it on your chart. You're paying attention to it. As we kind of dig in a little bit more here, let's go to a 15-minute. And you see these relative equal lows still hanging out down here. But again, right now, the move is leg up.
12 handles higher, correct?
That is 44.18 half, currently sitting at 06. Yeah.
So basically, if you're looking at SPY, just once you hit that 437-ish area, kind of head on a swivel.
Yep. So you got this 15-minute fair value gap in here. We're trading up into it. I'd like to see us get through that. Today is Wednesday. Keep that in mind. Theta Killing Wednesday. They could potentially wait until the end of the day to do something with it. They could wait till tomorrow. We'll see. But that is hanging out up there, that 15-minute fair value gap right there. I'm going to throw a line on this candle's low, the wick right there. So I was watching this as well, and you'll notice if I go to a 5-minute, that traded right down into the only open 5-minute fair value gap down here. Right? Traded right into it. You have a little volume imbalance right here, but it traded right down into that, and that's where it bounced and found support. Right? So I think the name of the game today is, until we get up above, say, 44.18 half, so another 10 handles up from here, until we get above there, it's like you're in no man's land. For me, you're inside of this 5-minute fair value gap. You didn't necessarily take out these lows. You see this wick down here. That was at 2 2:25 a.m., which took out all of these stops in here. So that has kind of already been taken. That would have been an area, had it not been taken already, that would have been an area that I would have been looking for something like this, looking for it to take that liquidity, find a market structure shift to look for a trade into to push back up. But that's already been taken. This would have been a decent low risk entry, but they've already come down and hit that. Now we've taken the pre-market high from 7:30 a.m. So there's not a whole lot left until we get through that fair value gap and trade into that actual gap that exists up here, or we find ourselves below 94. This area right in here, there's just not a whole lot for me to mess with. I could see if you're wanting to try to take a position aiming for this regular trading hours gap, right? I think you'd want it to be down here or right in where it's at now with a very tight stop. You can see this and it just traded through that little volume imbalance there. So right in here, it's really tough for me until we clear some of these, one of these levels, above or below. Zooming back out, you can see the only other thing is keeping watch if we do come down and take out 43.89. You've got this 60-minute fair value gap in here that it traded down into, that is held. If we find ourselves trading below that and that becomes resistance, then I could see it potentially coming back down into this area here. You can kind of see liquidity where it will be, where those stops are kind of stacking up, right? So if we do get that headline or it does start to make that move, I could see it coming back down into this area right here. Don't want it to. Not what I want to see. We got the nice break, over this high and break over this candle's high. I'd like to see it hold right in here. I think that's about all I got.
Sonny, what you got, buddy?
Morning, everyone. Lots of news today, surprisingly. I guess once China opened up, the news started. So I'll start with Maersk. It's a shipping company, I think one of the top 3 in the world. So they're cutting the capacity on their Far East Asian to Europe routes because of lower demand, muted global macroeconomic growth, they're saying, and the continued pressure of higher interest rates. Um, that's kind of interesting going into the holiday season to see that. Amazon Prime Day going on today, the second day. They're expecting roughly about $8.1 billion in sales, but then they say cautionary side, the consumer sentiment may be declining. Blackstone is in talks with Walt Disney to buy into their businesses in India. So that is also interesting. Got a couple of more headlines. Disney's also increasing their pricing for Disneyland and Disney World, the entrance fee. 2 weeks ago or so, they had talked about, they were going to, but they were going to cut prices or maintain the prices for children at certain age. So this, they're going to bring the kids in, but hey, parents, you're going to have to pay extra to get in. Kind of nice marketing tactic there. Plug Power. So we saw a lot of flow on this yesterday. I think they're coming into 750s. So they had the investor there. They're projecting $6 billion of revenue by 2027, and got a nice pop this morning. There's another headline that I didn't see go out yet, or get traction. So the Biden administration is set to announce on Friday $7 billion in federal grants to build out regional hydrogen projects. So that would be Plug, Fuel Cell, ICLN, a whole bunch of names. I had posted those yesterday, so take a look. And Plug also has a high short interest of 24%, so it can get squeezy today if we keep seeing flow into it. Um, Taiwan Semi, they are saying their exports have surged and they're gonna get a lot more AI orders into next year. And LVMH, they reported, I think yesterday, they're saying their China sales were down. China accounts for about roughly 20% of their revenue. That could be a nice one to play. Also, sympathy plays on that. Another China news. So they're hosting a Belt and Road Forum October 17th to the 18th. 90 countries are attending. So look for pops, flow into the Chinese name, Baba, JD, PDD, things like that. We've been getting some dark pool in Fudu and BEKE, but that I think is mainly due to the real estate. I forgot the name of the company. Freeman posted it, so they've been unable to pay. They may declare bankruptcy. There could be some volatility into those names. EU is considering requiring the big tech to fund the 5G broadband rollout in Europe. Instead of the government paying, saying, "Hey, you guys want to roll it out? You pay for it." I kind of like that. We should do that here too, instead of just funding it with our money. Upgrades, EU. So this one is a buyout rumor again that the CEO has left. They put a new CEO who would be more open to their buyout / merger with the APP. We did get a headline on that little move, so watch on that again. The price target is 49. Other one, Disney by JP Morgan and Etsy by Jeffries, price target 50. On the downgrade, Wolf, price target lowered to 40. And events, we have DraftKings Global Gaming Conference today. TGTX, this is also a nice mover on flow, bio name. And the other one is Sava, SAVA. There are two Jeffries conferences today. That one moves nicely when it starts in flow. And dark pool, give me 1 second. There we go. Nice dark pool into Google, 12% at 138.06. Skyworks, SWKS, 8% at 98.30. BMBL, this one has been getting consistent dark pool going back into last week. Another 37% at 14.59. And I did post all of these in my room, so go take a look. Other big one was uranium, URNM. We've been seeing flow into uranium names CCJ, UUUU, UEC, URNM. So keep an eye on that. And TAN was the biggest one. It was 96% of the 30-day average volume at 49.80. And that's it.
So we talked about what a day or two ago about the flow into LMT.
Yep.
We talked about keeping an eye on uranium names. These are the names that tend to pop up in times of conflict. And now we'll add, did you say BMBL?
BMBL, Bumble.
The Bumble?
The Bumble.
All right.
But the ladies have the first choice.
All right.
Good
Stonkington.
Oh yeah, let's go. I'm ready. All right, we got some smash burgers on deck. talked about these bunch, so we'll just jump into it. This is a failed breakout type of setup. The one on deck for today would potentially be a short. Doesn't mean jump in short, because this day would have been a smash day to the downside. This day would have been a smash day to the downside. So based on the fact that we closed above the prior day's high, we'd be looking to short if we broke yesterday's low, Larry Williams style. So we'll get an alert that pops in the room. We've got that set up on the SPY. We've got that set up on the IWM. I'm in frozen mode, I guess. What is this? Can I click on anything? That doesn't seem good. Well,
TradingView likes to do that sometimes. It likes to do it to me when I'm switching time frames every now and then.
interesting. Let me try one thing here, because everything just froze up. Let's see. Trading.
Yeah, we lost your share.
Yeah, let's see. Well, what a great welcome back, TradingView. Thank you.
Right. You try to go to another tab, or I can pull up the chart.
Here we go.
I don't have your annotations.
I just did a reset, so let's see if that gets me going here. All right. We back. Cool. All right, so we got IWM's got a potential smash day. We'll get the alert that pops in the room. We're looking for a break below yesterday's low. And then we've got the QQQ with a potential smash day. Again, we closed above the prior day's high, so we'd be looking to short yesterday's low. And the stop would be yesterday's high on all of those. So that's does have potential for today. And then we can dive in here. I'm just getting the NASDAQ pulled back up. And we'll take a look here. All right. So what do we have? We've got a start on the weekly. Kind of a busy chart, so we'll talk through it. All right. So we had this old weekly fair value gap that was this candle's high to this candle's low, which is now all filled. And I also have this one split into quarters, which jump over. There have been some reactions. We tagged first quarter, pull back. Tagged the second quarter, pull back. Crossed all of it yesterday, and then we pulled back. So still have these lines on the chart because I think they might be in play. We've got the new week opening gap below. We've got hourly gaps below. And then if we can kind of get cooking to the upside, we've got that order block line, this red level, 15.41875. We can kind of see this is where some of these sell-offs started. So I've got that marked as this potentially being a bear that wanted to get in cheaper. So we'll see what we do if we get up there. And if we get past that, we got this daily fair value gap here, this gold box that has room up to 15.531. So these are going to kind of be some of the levels I'll be looking at above and below. Got the weekly gap split into quarters with some downside targets if we do start pushing down. And kind of similarly to what Bender was showing on the ES, we've got this fair value gap below, and we've got potentially liquidity below with some bulls break-even stops down there. So we'll see what we get over there on the NASDAQ. Jump into the Russell with the markup. We've got below, we've got this hourly fair value gap again with room down through potentially here to that 1779. And then we've got this key level. We've looked at this level before on the daily, the 1776.6, which is kind of where all these daily candles started respecting this area. We've had support, and then we had some resistance once we got below it. So now that we're back above, if we do have to push to the downside, we'd be watching that 1776. And then we've got, if we get cooking to the upside, we've got daily fair value gaps above here on the Russell. Actually, the orange would be weeklies. So we've got some targets above there on the Russell, and then we got the new week opening gap way below. We have this. These are like longer term lows that we basically stopped out some people and then got the bounce there over on the Russell. For for individual tickers today. I'm just going to take a look at Apple. Zoom in here. Let's see. Trading View messing up the trend lines a little bit. So we've got this kind of, it's been working through this upward trend line that almost maybe some kind of megaphone over here on Apple or some kind of rising channel there. Below, I'm going to be watching this 177.4. Above, we've got a big dark pool here, 178.85. So those will be the triggers. We've also got this blue box is going to be a gap, potentially looking for gap fill. Let's see. So that's kind of what we've got here. And then we've got a couple other dark pools I'll keep on watch. The big one being down here, this 173.57 if we got there. But first I'll be looking for this 177.4 below, 178.85 above. And then the other one was going to be NVIDIA. Let's see. So NVIDIA's kind of got this rising wedge to it, look to it here. Above, I'm going to be watching for this 461.10. It's a key fib level, and that be basically, let's see, zoom out to over here. That's basically the 50% retracement. Looks like I'm on regular trading hours. There we go. So that'd be the 50% retracement basically from this run that we had, is this call trigger over here, that 461.10. Below, be watching for this 455.60, and then we've also got this little gap above. So that's kind of what I got going here on NVIDIA, and I believe that is it for today.
Thanks, Stockton. Well, we got Fed minutes. Anything else to add? Gentlemen?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Oh, man.
Nope.
Good.
All right, very good. Let's have a good day.
See you in a few.
See ya.